Hey, I just did the first video like a few minutes ago for this like podcast thingy, and I figured that I'd do the second one right now because I'm about to go to sleep and take a shower. So I was like, while I'm all hyped up and podcast ready, I might as well get another one in real quick. Um, and this time I want to talk about uh like a going for a big goal. So we'll call it how do you even call it? I don't even know what to call it. Uh, we'll call it, let's see. Okay, the first set, okay, we're talking about two mindsets here. The mindsets, I mentioned these in the first one. I said I was going to do another one, so I'm just like, okay, well, might as well do it now. We're going to talk about the first mindset of playing, we'll call it farming, because it's what the role is now. Or just trying, or you could think of it as like a collector mentality of how many runs can we get in the collection? Or, that's what farming is. Or, you could think of it as basically pushing yourself to achieve a new goal. So, like, what is the funny term? What's a good term for it, dude? God, I don't even know. It's like when you go for a big no-hit run. uh, we'll just call it pushing your limit, I guess. I don't know. Okay, pushing your limits versus farming. You know, where is there a good one to do? Is there a bad one to do? Is there, insane stuff, dude. Actually crazy. This is some high quality debate topic here. So, if you have ever seen, a player like, well, let's go to DS1. Let's go to DS1. What do we got? We've got let's look at a really good player like Shilky, right? Shilky's great in DS1, underrated as hell. He's insanely cracked. You could look at Barker, he was really good. Ogre's really good. Look at players like that. We'll just look at Shilky though because Shilky has obvious accomplishments that are basically untopped. Like no one's really gotten as many high-level SL1 runs. Anyway, that's not the point. Now I'm just gonna simp for Shilky on the stream. Uh, the um, other type of mindset, he's like he always goes for these big runs. You know, you'll see him do like a warm-up run basically, like on Sekiro he did a Shura sword only. He finally got that, and then he started just going insane with very, very fast progression up to very hard stuff. He wasn't ever really farming. You know, he gets a lot of runs in the collection. He almost farms really if you look at his runs. He did a lot of that type of stuff in DS2. But if you look at DS1, he was really pushing himself. After Trilogy, all bosses with the no bonfire or whatever. He did it in DS2. Anyway, that's not the point. Even if he doesn't really reflect this fully, it's kind of hard to find a player like this. No one really else does this kind of stuff. Basically, if you know Sekiro runners, I'm talking about players like Syl. So actually, let's look at Sekiro. Is there? No, let's just go back to DS1. But player like Syl and DS1 and Shilky. He doesn't fully reflect the playstyle as much, but kinda. Anyway, he's just so good that farming for him is beating top levels. So, or not levels, sorry, top runs. Brains in Geometry Dash mode. Uh, but if you look at a player like Markish, it's way easier to find farming stuff. But if you look at a player like Markish, he's insane at DS1. He's really good, and he's one of the most consistent players ever. Far more consistent than basically all the marathon runners, and he's just very. All of his stats are ironed out, and he knows the game front to back. Basically, is what I'm saying. He can get any run he wants, to a certain degree, which is my point. So, if you look at farmers, they get all the people with the farming roles. They're not doing brutally difficult runs, right? And I'm not disrespecting them and saying, oh, well, all you do is easy stuff. They're pushing the rate that they achieve runs. They're trying to get them as fast as they can, and they want to get more and more and more. So the farmer mentality is, how many runs can I get in a certain amount of time, basically, how consistent of a player can I be? And, and a lot of this stuff it's kind of hard to find, especially if you're a newer player, it's kind of hard to figure out which is which by just achievements. You can't just tell if someone is farming or not by looking at an achievement. So, a player like Marcus, he farms his runs, and it's kind of a big meme, so it's not a secret, which is why I thought I'd mention it. So, he uses the farming method, and so that's that mentality. So we'll just keep that in there as just that's what he does. And then if you look at Shilky, he goes for really hard runs. So he picks a run like, what does he do? Let's say SL1 Pyro. Dude did not get that in 3 days, let's be honest. It took him a long time, whether or not it was all spent in practice or if it was all spent in attempts. He spent a lot more time in practice than attempts, and you can tell because he gets his runs in a few streams or a few weeks versus 3 years or something. Not 3 years. 3 years, like a couple months. He spends a ton of time in the practice session, so it realistically takes about the same amount of time that another good player would take it. He's just doing it faster. So he goes for runs like that, and he's like, wow, this guy's amazing. But then if you look at well, so that's just my observation. I could be wrong, so take it with maybe a little more than a grain of salt. I'm kind of being serious here. I'm not just throwing things out. But yeah, sorry, I could be wrong. Sorry, Shoki, if I'm wrong. If you're not practicing as much as I think, you're just a god of man. But anyway, so comparing them, the actual freaking point of the video. What is the difference, right? Well, a player like Shilky, he's going for the method of going for a bigger run and just constantly pushing yourself like that, and you have a big goal, or if like still he's doing that insane run or whatever, that he's trying to push the game with all the debuffs on all boss, mini boss, and it's like, oh my god, how is he doing that? Well, the goal is improvement there. It's constant improvement, right? You're trying to up your skill and become a better player. You're trying to expand your capabilities, is the whole idea behind that mentality. But farming is you take your capabilities that you have, and you have them. You basically, if you're farming at that level, you know that you can do the runs, so you just go and do them because you're good, basically. And you're just trying to get that collector badge of just, oh my god, look at all the runs I can do. So my little advice, if you're trying to pick one, is do what you like more. So yeah, is there a bad one? No. That was one of the questions I asked. No. Farming is just doing whatever you want with the skill that you have, and it takes some hard practice to get to a level to farm, for sure. You're not going to be the best player in the world by farming. There's always going to be someone with a harder run than you if you're doing that. But typically, you shouldn't care because that doesn't matter. Or maybe you should, or it doesn't matter. It's be yourself. Don't let me tell you if you should care or not. But I'm guessing you shouldn't because it's, you know, it's just your runs, dude. Like, who cares? So, and then let's see. If you're going for the other mentality, uh, is that one bad? No, it's just someone trying to achieve their maximum potential. You know, just because they don't have as many runs as you. You know, like, oh, well, you know, Sil is bad because he doesn't have that many runs. He doesn't get many. You know, it's like, well, he's not bad. He just going for one big, huge freaking goal, you know? Or like Urban Orb is the freaking perfect example for this type of stuff. I forgot about him. He went for one run and it was all enemies. It's like that is the type of stuff I'm talking about. The huge goal. You know, I kind of veering off towards the I want to go for big goals because I'm trying to be really good. So, you know, that's just me. But if you look at a player like Marcus, dude is farming like he owns a barn, bro. Like, he's insane. So, uh, basically, what I'm trying to say is there are different mentalities. They come up with different players. You know, different versions of skill. You can have two people with the same amount of skill. With one guy has 3 runs and one guy has 10. It's just one guy wanted more runs and the other guy just constantly trying to get better. You know, don't be ashamed if you don't really want to improve when you get to a certain level as a player and you would rather just see what you can do, you know? That's okay. That is totally fine. That's just your skill level and don't worry about it. And yeah, that's basically my whole point. Was I was trying to say is like disregarding memes, that farming is just another method of playing the game other than just going for one big run, and you can do either, and you shouldn't be locked into, you know, your especially in DS2, in my opinion, you should not be locked into what other people say that is the best way to play, because it's not. It's play your best way. The whole point of this podcast, basically, all these different episodes I'm doing, is I'm trying to get people to just play, to emit their essence through the game. Make it more creative than just, okay, I'm gonna get all the runs, or okay, I'm gonna get this one run. You know, it's like, do what you enjoy. If you enjoy, you know, getting all the runs, then do that. You know, don't be afraid to change. So yeah, that's why I thought I'd talk about farming, is because it's just important to that mindset. It's, you know, you want to be able to get yourself to do. Keep covering over the gameplay, Lamau. You want to keep getting yourself to do the maximum that you can do. You know, if your goal is improvement, you can improve as a player with going for one run, and then the difference is that you improve as a player going for one big run, and as a farmer, you uh, you're not really pushing your skill, you're pushing your consistency, and you're pushing that by trying to get as many runs as possible. And there you can be the best player in the world. I think I said you couldn't. You can't get better and become better than someone else if you're just stuck at your skill level getting more runs, because you're not getting better and you're not becoming a better player. But you can become the best, or you can max out your potential at that current skill level by getting as many runs as you can. So, and you can mix and match styles of play all you want. You can farm and go for big goals, you know, whatever. Just if you have one big massive goal for your career, it's a lot easier to pick where you're going for. But if you don't, then you have a bigger creative ground and more freedom in your career as a DS2 no hit runner, or any no hit runner really. And yeah, you just gotta, you know, don't be afraid to pick one. Don't be afraid to mix them. Just be creative. And yeah, that was kind of a jumbled thing. I don't know what to call this. I guess it was just comparing and discussing the two different methods of the grind for runs. Two different ways to do the runs, the no hit runs. So thanks for listening to my stuff. Good luck on your runs, homies. You got this. Be creative.